Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. For those who are joining from the live coverage I just did with Karen Friedman Agnifilo on everything that's happening in the criminal trial against Donald Trump, welcome. For those who are joining at the regular hour for Political Beatdown, welcome. We've got a lot to discuss, Michael Cohen. The first thing I want to discuss, though, is a statement that you put out. It's gone viral, and I want you to be able to speak to the Beatdown Brigaders, about your thinking here. You and I are going to have a lot of coverage about a lot of things, and on Political Beatdown, you and I have always talked about respect for Justice Merchan's courtroom, and of course, always kind of, making sure that we are at all times just being very cautious. There's an active proceeding taking place, and of course, we do our best. It's hard when people get attacked. I'll just leave it at that, to just hold back sometime. But this is a statement that you put out, Michael Cohen. Let me read it to everybody and let me get your take on it. You said, despite not being the gag defendant, out of respect for Judge Merchan and the prosecutors, I will cease posting anything about Donald on my X, formerly Twitter account, or on the Mea Culpa podcast until after my trial testimony. See you all in a month or more. Hashtag Team Cohen. And we're here on Political Beatdown. That still applies to Political Beatdown, all of your podcasts on the Midas Touch network. You and I are going to be able to discuss, other issues. There may be times where, I will be discussing something, and if I do, it's not for, you'll know I'm not going. I mean, I need to update people on some basic news of things that are happening as a journalist. But I want to hear from you about your decision to make this statement, and if you could address the Brigaders.
So what ended up happening is, all of a sudden, you have this gag order that was placed on Trump that was being violated, and they were in court and they're making the statements that he being, meaning Donald being the front runner for, or the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, that he has the right within which to respond to attacks and all of this other stuff. And truth be told, what it was doing is it was interfering with the progression of the trial, something that I would like to see over with as soon as possible, because that means I am done. It means that I am free from all of the testimony after 6+ years. And so I decided to make a decision, because his attorneys, Todd Blanche, came in and showed a tweet that I had put out, or a post that I had put out that is critical of Donald, that I had put out in retaliation for his acts against me. But whatever it might be, I just decided that I will not talk about him anymore until after the trial, till after my testimony, plain and simple. So everything that you saw as they just posted is what I put out. That there are many other things. This one right here. I am not the gagged defendant, but out of respect to Judge Merchan, because this is just extra work that he has to deal with, as well as the prosecutors, that I will cease posting on my social media platforms or discussing Donald. And, during those time periods, for example, where Ben, wants to get into a topic that my estimation is, let's just say, teetering even on this specific area, I'm just going to stop my camera. I'm going to mute it, and I don't want to be involved. And just as soon as it's over, then I will have Salty bring me back into the picture, because I really want to live up to what promise that I made. I am tired of MAGA's attacks on me every time that there would be a comment made about me. On top of that, it's not helpful to other witnesses because many of them are feeling the same heat that I was feeling from those comments. And I appreciate that. A lot of people saying, classy move. I don't want to say it's a classy move. I'm saying it's a respectful move. It's a respectful move of the system, of Judge Merchan, of his courtroom, and the prosecutors who are, right now working hard to put forth their case. On top of that, to be honest with you, it's also it's a benefit to Trump's defense team because they don't have to waste time now putting forth motion after motion after motion. But we'll see what happens with this gag order because even after I had put that out, more stuff had come out. And I know that today, even more, what do you call it? Another motion, 3 more violations under the gag order. I wish that it would stop. Even if it doesn't, I'm going to allow the prosecutors and the court to deal with Trump. And I'm going to sit back and let the process run itself out, despite the fact that I am not the defendant in this case. He is. I am not the gagged individual in this case. He is. But nevertheless, again, I'm gonna live up to my word.
What I appreciate that you say time and time again is, I respect this system. I respect law and order. I recognize this justice system and its importance. And even if not under an obligation, under any type of gag order, I have such respect for this system in place that I don't want to be even viewed or construed in any way as giving an excuse to others who may not have the same view and reverence about the system. And so here's what I'm going to do. You and I can talk about, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that the RNC is doing. There's a lot of things going on Capitol Hill. There's a lot that I can talk about. Like when I talk about what went down at the Supreme Court oral argument today, I'm frankly just going to be playing some of the audio clips of what the lawyers were arguing. And Cohen, if that's something that you think you need to mute yourself for while I just play.
Well, if I do, then I'm going to, because one of the other things that I have not been doing is I'm not following the trial. Now, there are times as I'm flipping through, I'll see it's about the hush money. I'll go back to 48 hours, the crime show or neighborhood wars or customer wars, or I'll flip. I was started to watch Shogun, Rosie O'Donnell the other night on my TikTok show, jumped on with me, and she was recommended Shogun. I have to be honest, I love Rosie to death, but I hate subtitles. Right? I just want to. I want stupid TV. I don't want the ones where I have to pay attention and I have to start reading, the subtitles. I wish they would have dubbed it, but this one is not. I checked to see if it was dubbed.
Well, Cohen, you are a voracious reader and you have a stack of books that you're reading all kind of at the same time. For those who were able to make our Zoom meeting yesterday at patreon.com/political beatdown, we kept it very light. And we were asking you, well, look, what are you doing right now to relax and de-stress? And you talked about reading books. You also talked about some of your other hobbies on your phones and some of the games that you play. I just think, a lot of people know what's going on in the trial. They've heard your name being mentioned a lot. I also I don't want to talk specifically about the trial. I understand the boundaries, but I also want to let people know, okay, who is Michael Cohen? Just what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? So maybe you
some
could.
of the people in the comments are talking about, my obsession. I am OCD, right? I have been since childhood. Somebody told me a while back that Candy Crush is kind of like meditation. I was like, really? All right, fuck it. I'll try it. It's not like, I can't meditate. I find it too boring. I had a couple of friends when I was in Otisville. They used to meditate all the time. They'd sit on the floor and they would just meditate. I couldn't get into it. I just can't bring myself to that point. And so I was like, all right, shit, I'll give anything a shot, right? So I went ahead and I started playing Candy Crush. Well, 15,200 some odd levels later, I think I'm like top 5 in the world in terms of Candy Crush. In fact, you want to hear something really funny, Ben? Somebody said to me that you can actually sell your account. I'm like, who in the world wants that? There are people that want to buy your level. So I said, well, you get me that right number and I'm willing to start all over again because, it is so crazy. It's like now I'm just sitting there and, I'm just playing it and matching the whole thing and just going on. And as I'll say sometimes, well, even while I'm eating breakfast, I'll just sit there and just fumble through because it takes my mind off of everything else. Instead of watching morning television, I'll just flip through something, or I'll go watch TikTok, or I'll watch one of, Legal AF. I'll watch the Midas Brothers, just something to keep myself busy. I know that sounds crazy. I can't wait for this trial to be over so that I don't have to sit there and worry about whether or not I'm watching something that I shouldn't be watching. And in all fairness, too, I'm not just interested in watching to see, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know, third base. I'm not interested in just that. I was very interested in watching what's going on with the pro-Palestinian protests at the various schools, Yale, Brown, Vanderbilt, University of Pennsylvania, NYU, et cetera, USC. I'm interested in it because it's important to me. And I think it's important to the country to see what's going on. And so I'll watch that. I won't watch it, for example, on CNN because CNN has off in the right corner, they're doing like a second by second playbook of what's going on in the trial. So I'll go to another station like Spectrum One, or I'll watch it on MSNBC where they're not doing that. Personally, I happen to think it's a brilliant idea. If I was allowed to watch, I'd be very interested in real time seeing what's happening. But I'm staying away. Now, I got to be straightforward and honest and truthful here. I can't say that 100% that I have been able to stay away where I will, flip through and then I'll see myself and it'll say something in the chyron, like here, Michael Cohen and Ben Meiselas react to breaking news. It'll say something there, but I'm trying to really stay away. First of all, I don't want it to raise my blood pressure. I also don't want to end up being, asked, hey, did you follow this trial? The answer is no. And if they ask me, you sure? Yeah, I am sure. And you know why I didn't follow it? Because I don't give a shit. I know my testimony. And if everybody's testimony doesn't corroborate what I've been saying now for 6 years, they're lying. They're wrong. Now, I'm not saying that, I may have, said, 2 people, it's 3 people, or 1 person, 4, or whatever the number might be. It could be the 15th, the 16th, whatever. I could be wrong on a specific date. It took place so long ago. But the story that I've been telling for the last 6 years, if theirs doesn't corroborate mine, means nothing to me. It means absolutely. I really should start writing another book.
Cohen, what kind of headspace are you in right now? How are you feeling? How are you doing? We know you've lost a tremendous amount of weight. It's good to hear you're finding activities to de-stress a little bit, whether it's Candy Crush or
walking
reading
in Central Park, or just walking in Manhattan. Like, yesterday, today was a little bit colder. I walked Central Park yesterday. I did about 4.8 miles. I, walked around the loop. And it was beautiful out yesterday. I put my earbuds in. I turned on, top 100 pop songs. And I just enjoyed the fresh air, the sun beating down on my face. As you're walking, sometimes people, will stop you. Most of them, for the vast majority are fans and they just want to say hi or take a selfie. Every now and then you get the few in the park that want to give you the finger. They curse you out as they're running past you. I just kind of try to ignore it. But just walking the park and looking at, like, the cherry blossoms, or just the beautiful greenery of Central Park, the statues, the sculptures that are there, just the people running around. I'm always amazed at how fast some of these people can actually run. It's never been my thing, but I'm always amazed that these people, are able to do. So I walked like 4.8 miles. Today, I had to spend some time over at my lawyer, Danya Perry's office. And that's where I was up until about an hour or so ago.
Well, it's great to be here with you live. One of the things you and I talked about at patreon.com/political beatdown during the Zoom meeting, it was actually suggested by a brigader, is launching like a book club, or like even like a health and wellness type of club where we can all encourage each other to like just be better, and to read books, and to eat better, and to do all of those things just to help our stamina. I mean, look, these are, no matter where you are right now in the country or in the world, these are some stressful times. And I love that idea of maybe starting like a club that we can do for free and have people join and encourage like a lot of positive habits. And so you and I are talking offline about what we can do, because we're all in this together and we all slip from time to time. And so it would be great to encourage each other and make sure we're all there for each other. I love that idea.
Funny though, Ben, is a lot of people truly started after that tweet, or that post went out on X and so on. They started running it on all social media. A lot of people started sending me text messages and emails and stuff like that. Good move. Thank you for caring more about America, democracy, the future, and the legitimacy of this trial than than your own ego, so to speak. And I really appreciated that. Then there's a lot of people that say, no, don't do it. Keep talking out, because we need to know what's going on. And I apologize to those people. I really do, that I can't be that person who's going to, provide you with my analysis of what's transpiring. Obviously, at this point, because I don't know, but I can't do it because, again, and I say this truly out of respect, really, for the judge, this is not an easy case for any judge. Even though, Mershon so far, from, everything that I'm seeing, is keeping control over this court. And again, as I'm flipping through the channels, because I want to see the things like the pro-Palestinian, protests. I want to see what's happening with the $95 billion of aid that's going to be going to Russia, to Ukraine, to Israel, and to Taiwan. I want to see, the other things that are happening right now, including what's going on with MAGA Mike Johnson. I was very interested in watching his speech before Columbia University. As you all know, I am not a fan of MAGA Mike. On my podcast, Mea Culpa, I am exceptionally critical of him, not just as the speaker, but also on top of that, as a human being. I fundamentally disagree with his stance on women's rights, on reproductive decision-making, on IVF. I fundamentally disagree with him, but I do have to give the guy props. He really put himself out there, and I can tell you, he's getting a lot of backlash, for it, a lot.
Cohen, a lot of what we talk about too is about normalcy, about getting back to normal, about reaching across the aisle once again, finding compromises, trying to make our political system work. One of the reasons our show's called Political Beatdown is it's like a beatdown on the divisiveness of politics, and you're this team and you're that team. And it's about, can we just get back to normal again? Can we be compassionate again? Can we all agree how important our democracy is? Can we talk about the threats to our democracy? Can we be clear-eyed about this? And so I don't think this is an area, Cohen, that you have to refrain from. But if it is, let me know, because I want to talk about the RNC right now, which is
That's
led
fine.
by Lara,
Lara
Lara Trump. Not the other guy. It's led by Lara Trump, and she's continuing to make these media appearances that are just so unbecoming of someone in a position of leadership, regardless of what political party you're involved in. So she keeps doing these shows with a guy by the name of Alex Stein, who's like a right-wing MAGA troll, who's now one of their top media influencer type people, right? So if you're wondering, okay, on the one hand, in the pro-democracy community, we've got networks like the Midas Touch and others. Like, what's going on in kind of the MAGA world? Where are they getting their news from? Well, one of the most popular podcasters who Lara Trump frequently appears on his show is someone named Alex Stein. We've talked about him on a prior show. And Alex Stein, while Lara Trump was on one of the other shows, and I'll show you what went down recently, was given a baby doll while Lara Trump was there for reasons that are just entirely unclear. And he would take this baby doll while Lara Trump is there and laughing at it during an interview about important issues that should be about issues in our country. It wasn't. It was about taking this baby doll, and they would repeatedly kick it, and they would keep on beating a baby doll over and over again. Then he would punt the baby doll and say, I want to be able to kick baby dolls again. President Biden doesn't let me kick baby dolls. Go back to the days where I could kick them. Then he took the baby doll and burned the baby doll's head. Now, the chair of the RNC is Lara Trump. She's sitting there as this man is punting and kicking a baby doll and burning the baby doll's head. This is not normal behavior. There's a report that the New York Times doesn't want to give favorable coverage to President Biden because they're jealous that President Biden is giving interviews with other outlets, or he's not giving them the access that they want, so they're retaliating against him. But they constantly both sides these things, and that's not normal conservatism. That's not like normal Republican stuff. It's just weird and dangerous and strange. And Lara Trump is co-signing it. She keeps going back on this guy's show. And in this appearance that our researchers were able to find, well, let me show you this. This is part of an interview with Alex Stein and the chair of the RNC, Lara Trump. We'll just play this first clip. It doesn't matter which one we play, guys, but just play clip number 1 of the recent interview with Stein and Lara Trump, the chair of the RNC. It's so disgraceful. Play this clip.
I asked her if it was okay if you're married to have anal sex. And that was a big deal. I asked that because I said, is that legal? And I just want to say, Laura, I would never ask you a disgusting question like that.
You never asked me something like that.
Laura, I would never say anything like that. This is a free speech. If you have it, if you want to give your opinion on it, you're welcome. But I would never ask you anything about that.
Hold on, I have a question. Is it legal to do?
Yeah, well, they say sodomy is illegal now. Yeah, in the Bible. Is it legal in the Bible to do that? Like with your husband, of course.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, once you are married, everything is legal, and everything that everyone enjoys, whatever it may be.
That's it, Laura. Oh my God, I love you. See, you're such a good sport. Everything's legal. So my wife and her boyfriend, whatever they do, it's totally legal.
You can't make this shit up. I mean, this guy is absolutely, first of all, not a fan of Lara's. However, under no circumstance, even on as crude as I can be, and as sometimes, I say things that I probably shouldn't say, I have never crossed over a line asking a woman something as ridiculous, stupid, sick, perverted as that. I mean, it's like, I'll make up names. I will say I swear, according to my mom, a lot more than I probably should, considering I grew up in a house that there was no swear words allowed. I mean, my dad being a retired now head and neck surgeon, my mom's surgical nurse, my 3 siblings also lawyers. I am like the only one that actually uses sort of this type of language. How, I don't know. Maybe they dropped me on my head when I was a kid, but never in my life have I asked somebody a question like this. I mean, it's his behavior is repugnant, and the way he goes about even talking about, hey, Lara, I love you. What the hell is that about? I mean, he's like an 11-year-old. I don't understand. It's like, yeah, we just got a Playboy. Yay. Hurt my voice now.
Well, here's another one from that same interview. And she's just kind of sitting there. Again, this is not,
Unbelievable.
She's the chair of the RNC in the United States of America. She is a leader, the leader of one of the major American political parties.
Do you think, Ben, do you think that this ass clown would turn around and ask that question to Ronna Romney McDaniel? Or do you think that simply because she's a Trump, it's almost like, there's no holds barred here? Because I don't think he would ever ask Ronna Romney McDaniel that question. Or how about the previous chair of the RNC, Michael Steele? You think he'd ever ask Michael Steele a question like that?
The whole framework of what conservative media is today was never like that with Michael Steele. Frankly, it was never like that in the early days of Romney McDaniel. It was not. It's become this. It's baffling, and one of the things that you and I do here at the show, I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen that. Now, you can say, why are you showing that to us, Ben and Michael? Like, why do we need? Aren't you giving them attention? The problem is that
exactly
outside of this, people are normalizing and acting like this is normal stuff in 2024. You've got conservatives and you've got liberals, and it isn't. So I have to share this because you're not seeing this stuff anywhere else. So you know what type of moral character these people have. And this is what they're going about every day now. Here's another clip from that interview. Let's play this other clip.
You're the best. We love having you.
Before you go, I need a 2-box producer because I want to show you this. So now there's Dylan Mulvaney, Laura, before you go, is now the sponsor of Bud Light. And so we're going to do a little test. I'm going to take a sip of this Bud Light and we're going to see if it turns me gay. Are you ready? Let's see. Bye, Laura. You're a great guest. Oh my gosh, I'm gay, Laura. Oh my God, I love it. I love being gay.
I don't notice a difference.
Oh, you don't notice a difference?
Are you wearing your Nike sports bra as well?
I am wearing my Nike sports bra. It's right here.
There's something so, by the way, I so appreciate, Ben, you bringing up the point as to why is it that we're showing you this disgusting, crude, despicable, homophobic, sort of sexually perverted clips of Lara Trump with this idiot Stein. And the reason is because that's what the Republican Party has become. And just imagine that Lara Trump will actually be a part of an administration, if God forbid a million times that Donald should win, that these are the people that will be at the helm of power for the greatest country in the history of this earth? Seriously? Talking about that? First of all, let me be clear about something as well. Lara and Eric are friends with many people who are gay. And the fact that she's laughing about him making fun of drinking a beer, a Budweiser, because I remember they put something on the can that caused, some mess. I forget who it was, but they put it on the outside of the can, and it caused a whole uproar that Anheuser-Busch was now losing sponsors and Americans, or it was whatever it was. And the fact that she could laugh at that. You see, if I'd have a moniker of respect for her if she would have turned around and said, you know what? That's really wrong to do and to say, and I really don't want to be a part of that. All right. That's not proper. There's an amount of respect that you give to everybody, whether you're straight or you're gay, whether you're black, you're white, you're brown, woman, you're male or female, tall, short, whatever, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, it makes no difference. There's an amount of respect that, as the head of one of the two major political parties, that you owe to the people that are watching. It's despicable. I'm with you on that, Ben. I'm with you on it.
And then I'll just show this final one, and it's like reality TV. They have to film themselves doing everything, and then they have to post about it. And so Alina Habba made a video that she directed at our editor-in-chief at the Midas Touch Network, Ron Filipkowski, of herself cutting an avocado. And she's like, hey, Ron, you want to watch me cut this avocado? And then she made a video of herself, and she posts this video and sends it to our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski. And it's like, why just don't, you don't need to do that. Like, why are they behaving like this? Here, let me just show you this clip really quickly. Let's play it.
Hey guys, I've never done a video like this, so I thought I would try, because Ron Filipkowski is getting like 1 million views for me chopping celery. This is me eating avocado. Happy Passover, everybody. Hey Ron, you little trollski. Well, I'm not good at this either. Oops. Get a life!
Is bad reality TV, and these are people who actually hold important positions, and all I want to raise the red
Even
flag
Andy
about
Cohen wouldn't put her on the Housewives.
is just to say enough. This is not normal. When you and I talk a little bit about some of the debate that was happening on the House floor, you had George Santos replaced by Democratic Congressmember Tom Suozzi. And there was a moment where MAGA Republican Chip Roy was yelling at Suozzi and was like, wah, 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 wah. And Suozzi's like, not working anymore. We're going to act like adults here. And Chip Roy was like, wah, 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 wah. And Suozzi was like, yeah, still not working. We're going to support our allies, okay? Not working. And you just have to stand up to this weirdness and this craziness and this MAGA mush and this mess. And we just have to say enough. Let's get back where we can agree to disagree on things respectfully, where we can act with decency, where we care about our democracy, where we, the people, truly follow the Constitution. We still got a lot to talk about. Let's take a quick break.
Have you ever wished that you had whiter and a brighter smile? Well, before you visit a dentist, you should know that their whitening treatments, they're very expensive. And you know what? It's not just the price. You also have to book the appointment, schedule time away from work or family to sit in a dentist's office chair while undergoing this procedure. It's a hassle. Fortunately, now you can try Smile Actives at home or anywhere, anytime. Smile Actives offers a safe and an affordable alternative to those expensive whitening procedures. You see, I've had past experience with these whitening agents, and I got to tell you, I hated it. It causes these zingers afterwards. It's really uncomfortable. And I'm a big coffee drinker, and so I hate to say it. Your teeth get stained. But that's why it's so important to use Smile Actives, because it brings you a bright smile. And a bright smile makes a good impression. Smile Actives makes a teeth whitening gel that can simply be added to your toothpaste every time that you brush your teeth. So there's no change in your routine, there's no extra time, and there's no messy strips, trays, or lights. Simply add Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel to your regular toothpaste. It's been formulated with polyclean technology to boost stain removal and deliver active whitening ingredients into teeth grooves and crannies so that you get better whitening. 97% of Smile Active's users in a clinical trial reported up to 6 shades whiter on average. Listen to what I just said, up to 6 shades whiter on average, and all within 30 days. I mean, that's the kind of trial that I like. So what are you waiting for? Start getting comments on your whiter, brighter smile in just days. Visit smileactives.com/beat today to receive a special buy one, get one free offer with delivery plus free shipping and handling. That's smileactives.com/beat. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. Thank you very much, Small Act. Loving my Small Actives.
We're back live. Cohen, when we left, we were just talking about normalcy and bringing normalcy back into our body politic and just into our day-to-day life. There was a recent ad out by a group. It's called Doom Scroll. And it was basically in the ad, people were on their phones and they were doom scrolling. And then the phone was, taken away. And then it was like, just go out and do something with people. like let's just go out and be, and just be normal and make connections again. And one of the most important things to you and I about this beatdown community, about the Midas Touch Network, is we always emphasize the importance of the community here, right? And doing positive things for each other, and uplifting each other, and rejecting the nastiness. And that's always something we talk about over and over again here. And by the way, the reason I just show those clips is not to give them more attention again. It's to let you know that we're not in normal times and to call it out so we can get back to being normal. That's why we do it.
Hey, Ben, it's funny. One of our brigaders turned around and said, can you do some voiceovers for Disney? And so I don't know if you ever saw this, but Jimmy Kimmel actually took my voice from one of my Mea Culpa podcasts and he put it on Snagglepuss. And maybe on Tuesday when we revisit it, we'll find it and we'll have Salty. Unless Salty can do it now, it's Snagglepuss. It's like a 10-15 seconder. It is so freaking funny. Yeah, he's like, Michael Cohen has a very distinct voice. It's kind of Schwarzenegger. That's Jimmy Kimmel. It was absolutely fantastic, but I appreciate that. I'll tell you what else I do appreciate. I love the fact that our brigaders come to, our defense. They realize the injustices that are constantly being put out there, and they're constantly, as a community, protecting the community and our right to have, it's not opinion, to have our right to speak truth to power. And that's something that's being lost right now on the Republican side. They're just speaking their opinion. They're speaking their message. They're not speaking truth. And that's why you see nonsense like what's coming out of Lara's mouth and so on. Look, as far as the Alina Habba video and so on, I don't know what's going through her head or anybody else's head that's going to go ahead and attack Ron Filipowski, because he put a video out there. It actually diminishes her as forgetting about as a lawyer, but almost as like anybody that you could take serious, and with all of the stupidity that she says, and I'm the first one to say it, but I don't want to start getting down into the mud anymore with any of them. We are all so much above the really denigrating sort of comments that were made about her and that video. It's beneath us. As we now spend the next 6.5 or so months before the election, this is time really for us to get serious, right? We have to ignore the noise that they're trying to produce. We need to get really serious, and we need to ensure that every single one of us are registered to vote, because they're going to try to make it harder. That we know. We need to make sure we're registered to vote. Make sure that everybody we know is registered to vote. That's at work, family, friends, neighbors, you're out at a barbecue, just walk over to somebody, say, you know what, I'm not asking you who you're going to vote for, but are you registered to vote? Are you going to vote? Hey, why don't we all go together? That way we can make sure, because my big concern for this upcoming election is not that Biden doesn't have it hands down, simply off of the overturning of Roe via the Dobbs decision. I believe women, 65 to 70% of women in this country, Republican, Democrat, and Independent, cannot stand Donald Trump for making the statements that he makes, that he takes credit for the overturning of a 50-year decision, stare decisis. It is the dumbest move anybody can make. And as a Democrat, as a lifelong Democrat, I am so thankful to the stupidity of the RNC, the stupidity of Donald when it came to, taking credit for the overturning of Dobbs. Good. Now you'll see the blue wave. My biggest fear is apathy. And that's something that I hear too many people talking about. The apathy of voters of going and even caring who wins. They're unhappy with Trump. They're unhappy with Biden. They're certainly not voting for RFK Jr., that's for sure. And so that's my biggest fear. So if each and every one of us gets out there and we speak to our friends, our family, our community, right, that we live in, and make sure that they are registered to vote and make sure that they actually get to the polls, there won't even be a contest. This election will be over, before 11 o'clock at night.
Well, let me shock your conscience and potential apathy by showing you a few of these clips over the past few days as Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that MAGA voters are so angry at MAGA Mike Johnson and feel so betrayed that she is worried that many of them won't show up to vote in November. Let's play this clip first.
This is different. They're angry on a whole nother level. And here's what really worries me. They're done with the Republican Party. They are absolutely done with Republican leadership like Mike Johnson, who totally sold us out to the Democrats. Joined the Uniparty faster than anyone we've ever seen in history and literally made a night and day change in a matter of months. Betrayed everyone, betrayed the entire Republican Party, betrayed Republican voters, betrayed the Republican conference. And voters are so angry this time, but I'm really worried. I am really worried. They're so angry they're not going to give us the majority back in 2025.
Here's another clip right here of her saying that MAGA Mike Johnson's speakership is over. He's done. We're getting rid of him. Play this clip.
Mike Johnson's speakership is over. He needs to do the right thing to resign and allow us to move forward in a controlled process. Yeah. If he doesn't do so, he will be vacated.
Well, with all due respect, you didn't give me a plan for the speaker's role. And again, does this mean you are going to file that motion at some point?
It's coming regardless of what Mike Johnson decides to do. And we have 3 more Republicans joining us from special elections coming up very soon. So people need to know this can happen.
And showing that this is not normal at all. This is Republican Congress member Gonzalez right here. And here, this is how he describes his Republican colleagues. This is a right-wing guy, a Republican Congress member Gonzalez. Here's how he describes his colleagues as scumbags, Republicans, scumbags. Play this clip.
He will survive. Look, the House is a rough and rowdy place, but Mike Johnson is going to be just fine. I served 20 years in the military. It's my absolute honor to be in Congress, but I served with some real scumbags. Look, Matt Gaetz, he paid minors to have sex with him at drug parties. Bob Good endorsed my opponent, a known neo-Nazi. These people used to walk around with white hoods at night. Now they're walking around with white hoods in the daytime.
He's talking about the Republican Party, his own party. That's who he's talking about.
Because, Ben, here's the problem. The RNC is fractured. Think of it no different than you take a glass, right? And, very soon you'll be doing this at your wedding, and they tell you to smash the glass. Each one of those pieces, the big pieces, is representing a faction of the RNC. You have the far right MAGAs, you have a little more centrist MAGAs, you have the centrists, you have the, the sort of left-leaning, progressives. And so there's really so many different groups in MAGA right now, and then the Republican Party, that they're actually attacking each other for who is the most MAGA or who is the least MAGA. It is the most fractured party. And can you imagine you take a fractured party like that and you actually put it into power? What the hell are we thinking? What are Americans thinking? If you really want to destroy this country, give it to a fractured party that can't even get along with themselves. I mean, right now, they have, what is it, a one vote majority in the, in the House? I'll tell you, like I've said this before on, to our brigaders, Ben, if I was Mike Johnson, I would turn around, I would meet with Chuck Schumer, I'd meet with Hakeem Jeffries, and I would say, you know what? I've had absolutely enough of this bullshit. I've had enough. I'm switching my party right now. I'm becoming a Democrat. We've seen a few Democrats switch over to the Republican Party. I'm becoming a Democrat. I want to remain as Speaker. All right. That way, we'll have the one vote majority and they will be out. On top of that, all of the chairs for all of these committees that are holding back advancing certain issues and advancing certain, investigations, automatically changes. 1, 2, 3. That's what I would do. I would say, fuck them. Enough already. I have to care more about America. I have to care more about our democracy and the democracy of this country going forward than I have to care about the party. And make a deal.
Look, I think he could still make a deal without even. I mean, it'd be interesting if he became a Democrat, but why not make a deal of, hey,
because
I'm only going to be here for. I'm only going to be here for.
If he doesn't make the deal that I'm describing, then the chairs, which are Republican, still remain in power. I'm talking about a complete overhaul. No longer will you have, Comer Pyle, right, the head of the House Oversight Committee. Just turn around, a massive, just one person leaves and everything changes.
Well, look, I think that there are some real MAGA extremists on some of these committees like James Comer and Jim Jordan, but I think you have potentially others that could be more moderate, if not under the MAGA influence. Like, I think you could get comprehensive immigration reform done right now if MAGA Mike grew a spine on that issue. There would be a deal. We know why that deal was killed. We know who killed the deal in the Republican Party. Enough said right there. So to me, that's an important step that we can actually take. We could actually address the border like Democrats want to do. Democrats let James Lankford, the Republican senator from Oklahoma, negotiate and lead the bill. One of the most conservative senators negotiated and led the negotiations for the immigration bill. And Democrats said, we will agree to it. Let's do it. We need to have certain safeguards to make sure that we're treating human beings with dignity. We need to be making sure we're giving humanitarian aid where needed, but we're agreeing, we want to compromise. And then the MAGA Republicans killed that deal and then said, we're killing it because we don't want to help Democrats during an election year, is what they said. So I think MAGA Mike can do that. Let me leave you with this.
You remember also during the State of the Union address when they put the camera right onto Lankford and he was sitting there shaking his head like this. And, there was a tremendous amount of jeers from that right-wing, the Chaos Caucus. And he's sitting there and it's like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, well, it is one of the most comprehensive, and it's also extremely conservative. I mean, why they didn't do it, that's called bipartisanship. And that's the only way that the country advances, not by doing what Republicans are doing.
Cohen, are you able to give anybody a two-finger salute? Is that still?
Oh, yeah. It's got to go to two people, one for each. I mean, it's got to go to that Stein asshole along with Lara Trump. I just find it to be so grotesque. I don't even know the adjectives, to describe. It's insane, it's grotesque, it's obnoxious, it's rude, it's homophobic, it's a million different adjectives, none of which are good. And so on behalf of myself and all of those that don't believe in burning babies or or talking about drinking a beer to turn you gay, right? What's his name? Eric Stein? Is that what it is? Because I want to get it right.
Alex Stein.
Alex Stein. See, I don't even give a fuck about him. Alex, Lara, you deserve each other. Fuck you both. Morons.
There you have it. The 2-finger salute right there from Michael Cohen. Cohen, let's call it a day. It's been a great episode, and I appreciate you sharing just how you're doing, what you're up to. I think we all respect your position. Of course, we'd all be eager to learn more about what's going on, but I think that I think you're making the right move. We all appreciate it.
Well, the faster they put me on, the faster they put me on the stand, the faster I'll be able to come back and give everybody the lowdown, each and every day, and each and every episode that we do here, which I think is extremely important as, again, we head into this election cycle.
Well, Cohen, thanks for that. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Cohen and I will try to do another live in the next few weeks. I mean, another Zoom meeting. That is, we'll do our lives as we always do them on Tuesday and Thursdays. Don't worry about that. Cohen and I will still be here for that.
Yeah, in the next week or two, I think we really
let's do another Zoom meeting. So go to patreon.com/political beatdown. The last meeting we had was great, and there were so many people just happy to see you, Cohen. A lot of people joining for the first time. They didn't realize that if they join the Patreon, they actually get to meet you on a Zoom in kind of a pretty intimate setting. So patreon.com/political beatdown. Sign up right now. Cohen and I will announce the next time we will be holding a meeting. Everybody watching, shout out to the Brigaders and shout out to the Midas Mighty.